Level 1. You walk in for a routine deposit. Fluorescent lights hum. The lobby smells like coffee and printer toner. A teller smiles, mechanical and tired. You tap your card. You don't see them yet. Then the glass shatters. A gun rises into frame. Shouts ricochet off marble. Time fractures. You are in the middle of someone else's plan. You freeze. Your heartbeat is a fist in your throat. People fall into two camps, panic and stillness. You choose stillness because moving feels like choosing a side. A robber barks orders. You memorize the cadence of their voice. It will be useful later. You scan exits. All doors lock like brains clenching. Security lights strobe. The drive-through light blinks oblivious. A silent countdown begins. You become an instrument in the wrong hands. You swallow. Air tastes metallic. You count breaths. 1, 2, 3. You can still think. You must. Your choices are small. They must be brutal. You start the mental map. Where is cover? Where are cameras? Where is the vault? Where are people who can help? A hand clamps over an elderly man's mouth nearby. You watch the robber's eyes. They are young, shaking. Fear and adrenaline make mistakes. Level 2. A plan collapses. The leader snarls at a partner. The partner answers with a gun that screams back. Something snaps, maybe a wire, maybe patience. An alarm you hoped would never sound screams. Glass explodes with the sound of inevitability. The robbers panic. They argue in quick, ugly bursts. Precision dissolves. Money that was supposed to be caged becomes chaos. You hear footsteps running toward the vault. One robber drags a teller to the back. Another scrambles with a sack. You are not a hero, but you are awake. You sense the opportunity in their disarray. You can move when they look the other way. You can try to get people out. But every movement is calculus. If you act and fail, you doom more than yourself. If you wait, the robbers might regroup. You decide to watch and listen and count. Your ears tune to little sounds, a dropped coin, a stuttering radio, a breath too loud. You memorize positions. The world reduces to angles and distances. The elderly man next to you trembles. You offer the smallest kindness, your jacket. A human touch, quiet and anchoring. It costs you nothing but steadiness. Level 3. The first shot goes wide. A ceiling tile explodes in a shower of dust. People scream like cut ropes. Panic ricochets. The robbers bark and retreat. They barricade themselves behind the teller counters. Phones light up in pockets. You see a hand lift, trembling, to dial. A robber sees it too and slams his fist. The line goes dead. Someone cries out for the manager. The manager looks hollow, like a puppet with frayed strings. You realize you are responsible for the thin thread of calm. Your voice, low and measured, is suddenly a tool. You tell people to get down. You whisper instructions. You create small zones of safety. You direct the elderly to the back hallway. You cover the eyes of a child with your palm. You keep breathing. Your breath is a metronome. Outside, sirens wail from a distance. They don't arrive yet. Time expands and tightens at once. You trade information with a teller. What alarms tripped, where the cameras point, which doors seal automatically. Knowledge is leverage. You slip a note into a customer's pocket, a list of the exits quietly circled. You start to feel like a conductor of whispers. Level 4. You find a camera blind spot. It is a narrow strip beneath a potted plant, a tiny loophole in a sea of surveillance. You meet the teller's eyes. She nods. She knows what it means. You move like a shadow. Under the counter, you find a maintenance panel. It hangs loose. If you can reach the wires, you might loop the cameras, freeze a frame, give a few minutes. A robber watches the vault door with a furious, dripping patience. You gingerly reach your hand into the panel. Every sound is amplified. Your heart hammers. Your fingers find wires, blue, red, gray. You follow the teller's cues. Tap, hold, release. The surveillance feed stutters, then freezes on a static image. A smug certainty crosses the robber's face for one blessed second. Then the image clicks back. You didn't have enough time, but you learned something. The system is temperamental. You can break the rhythm, and breaking rhythm means more choices. Level 5. One robber loses control. He rips open a bag and starts flinging money. It is obscene, as if throwing coins could fix a life. People lunge. Chaos becomes a contagion. You shove your jacket over the child's head. You drag the elderly man to the floor. You hear a whisper of shoes, two guards in civilian clothes approaching the back door. You could signal them. You could flash a finger, a cloth, anything. But a robber patrols that hallway now. You make a different decision. You find a paperclip on the floor and fashion a crude lockpick. It is ridiculous. It is possible. You have to outrun a bullet with cunning. You inch toward the back door when a robber turns. For a heartbeat, you and he are mirrors. You freeze like pressed glass. He moves away. You don't breathe until you feel the old man's pulse under your palm. Small victories. Level 6. Outside, police arrive in a cacophony of lights. Their engines shout into the street. Inside, the robbers panic anew. They shout into radios that scratch static. They don't know if a siege is about to begin. The leader paces. He is no longer in control. You see the human cost in his hands. A teller trembles, words locked in her throat. You decide to speak to the leader. Not bravely, calculatedly. You stand slowly, palms visible. You speak his name if you know it. If you don't, you use the only honest thing, your fear. You tell him there are children here. You tell him the police are outside and will stack the building in minutes. You ask for calm. It feels like bargaining your life, and it is. He listens because he is tired of shouting into panic. You buy time. Time is an imperfect ally, but it's an ally. You watch the police set up snipers, a negotiator, a drone humming like a wasp over the roof. You listen to their cadence through a thin wall. They are professionals. They will not rush. They will pick their moment. So must you. Level 7. The negotiator's voice is a velvet rope through the intercom. Promises are traded in little boxes of speech. They ask for hostages to show hands. They ask for proof of life. You become the proof. You unfurl your sleeves, show your palms until the skin goes numb. A camera sends your image outside. You are an image now, small and crucial. The leader wants release. He wants a route, a van, a story that ends somewhere else. You weigh every option. Escape through the vents, sprint to the alley, overpower a robber, wait for the breach. You feel the old man's hand squeeze yours. It is quiet. It is urgent. You choose distraction. You whisper a plan to the teller. You will fake a faint. When the robber rushes, the teller will trigger the sprinkler panel and trip the lights. Chaos in their chaos. It is messy, dangerous, possibly fatal. It is the only open door. You slow your breathing until your head swims. You drop like lead. A robber lunges. The teller slams the panel. Water hammers from the ceiling. Alarms coalesce into white noise. Robbers curse and flail. In the break, you roll toward the back door. You kick it with everything you have. It jams. A bullet thuds into the wall above your head. You don't stop. Adrenaline and terror and desperate hope become a single muscle. You force the door open. Outside, a sniper's voice crackles. Move! Move now! You run through a gauntlet of floodlights. Hands grab you. The police pull you down, check for weapons, ask your name, ask 1,000 small things. You answer in shards. You watch the building like a living thing, doors flaring, and you think of everyone left inside. They get them out. The leader is cuffed. The world tilts back towards safety. Epilogue. You stand under fluorescent mercy. Your clothes are sodden. Your hands still shake. A journalist asks a question before you can think of a single honest answer. You say, I did what I could. It is true, but it is also a fractured truth. You will replay the choices in the quiet hours. You will imagine alternatives that could have saved more. And you will, impossibly, sleep. Because once you survive a wrong plan, you learn the language of living with the taste of fear on your tongue. You will tell the old man a list of small things. The sound of the sprinkler, the rusted hinge of the back door, the cadence of the leader's breathing. Those details will be your compass in the aftermath. You will understand that survival isn't a single heroic act. It's a ledger of small, stubborn choices. A cold jacket placed over a child. a hand over a mouth, a note slipped into a pocket, an implausible paperclip, a whispered lie that buys a minute. You will learn that in the dark, people matter more than plans. And when the cameras rewind your image on the news, you will see yourself as you were, frightened, furious, stubbornly alive. You will not be the same. You will be sharper at angles you didn't know had edges. And someday, when you open a bank door again, you will notice the little things, the blind spots, the loose panels, the maintenance keys, and you will remember how close the world can come to unraveling. You will walk away carrying the quiet weight of what you did and what you could have done, and that will be enough to keep you moving.